7-3. A three-point shot for the Johnnies. 17:35 to go in the first half. Billy, tell us quickly about this DePaul team, the style we can expect.
Well, they start out ablazing with Green and going on in the side to Comegys. That's what they like to do. St. John's in his zone. DePaul is red hot. But his team plays so loose this year, it's amazing.
Evan Edwards with that field goal, and the Blue Demons go out to a 10-3 lead. This is the Blue Demons' home arena, suburban Chicago. Chicago against New York, if you will, and the city of Chicago always up for that. That second city complex. They always want a piece of a New York team. A foul is on Rod Strickland. There's one spot left in the dance in Cincinnati. Already Indiana and Duke advancing there yesterday. LSU here earlier this afternoon. The winner of this game gets LSU. Those two games coming Friday night, Midwest Regional semifinals in Cincinnati. Now that last shot by DePaul was not a three. Let me correct the score. I thought it was. It is 9-3 DePaul with Jackson at the free throw line for the Redmen.
80% free throw shooter, one of the outstanding players in America. I think lately, Brent, he's been spending an awful lot of time orchestrating the offense. And for St. John's to win this game, he's got to do some things in regard to penetrating and building up some big numbers for himself early.
4-point lead, big afternoon for Danny Manning. One of the great confrontations in recent memory will take place in that Southeast Regional semifinal when Manning goes up against Reggie Williams of Georgetown. He led the Hoyas back to a tough win today over Ohio State in the second half. I'd pay to see Williams play against Manning. What a confrontation. Comegys, a big-time player, couldn't get it to fall, and it is yanked down by the Redmen and lose it underneath. Strickland the wraparound.
I guarantee you this guy will dream up some shots inside. You can tell he's a playground ball player, and he just creates things inside. For a man his size, it's amazing how he can get them off. Good steal. He goes to one side. Jackson tried to get him. Look at this move inside.
Strickland, another of those great guards out of the New York area. He's from the Bronx. He and Comegys combined for 54 versus Louisiana Tech the other night. And the press is on. DePaul wants an up-tempo game. Johnnies would like to slow it down, go half court, keep this game down in the 60s or low 70s. DePaul wants to make a run at the hundreds.
A good move by Joey Meyer to keep that full court press on at all times, because you have to score in order to be in position to put the press on. But he wants to up-tempo this game. I don't know which guy I'd wish not to have to play to force an up-tempo, Jackson or Rivers.
The glass off, playing with that broken hand. He has a pad on the left side. And the foul going against number 23. And that is Matt Bruss' second personal foul. Carnesecca wanting a timeout here early. Problem here at the horizon. It has been worked on over on the far side. The 45-second shot clock is not operating on the left side. Now, it was operating on the right side. During that timeout, Dick Schreider, the NCAA committee chairman, met with Hank Nichols over there, and they decided, look, if it's not working on one side and we're going to use the PA announcer, the only fair thing to do here is to turn it off on the other side. We do not have a shot clock. The PA announcer will tell the athletes how much time is left. Foul going against Comegys. That's his first of the game.
Brett, we're still playing with a 45-second shot clock rule. It's just that they don't have one to see. He announced there as an example that had been down to 13 seconds. Don't know where he got that number. Very difficult to play under these circumstances.
Well, DePaul won't even notice it's gone. They seldom get it down close. St. John's, however, is have to bring it down very close a few times, as it does affect their half-court offense. Jones on the quick turnaround.
But Louis needs Jones to get started early in this ball game. Always capable, but sometimes disappears.
Strickland being defended carefully by St. John's. Now getting down inside, comes up with his shot. Good double team help there, but cleaned up underneath by Edwards. Oh, they let Kevin Edwards, who's only 6'3", burn him with an offensive rebound.
These clubs going after each other a little bit with some hand checking, Brent. This game could get a little rough early. Jackson and Strickland really going after each other.
St. John's only 1 of 6. A very aggressive DePaul team. Joey Maya wants to see if Jackson has been slowed because he was ill the other night. Took 6 sodas before his drug test before he could pass any urine, and then he threw up on the team bus. They couldn't even practice yesterday. Coming in is Brust. Another miss. But he battles it back for it, and Dross missing the 10-footer, but there is a foul underneath, and that one is going to go against St. John's. It's against Shelton Jones, 31.
I don't know if I think it's going to be against Golden pushing Jones, Brent.
It did go the other way. He was pointing in that direction.
Now, one of the things that is going to happen here is Comegys is playing a one-man zone in the middle. He's not concerned at all about Bross. Now they're in the zone because of the out of bounds. But before, even in the man-to-man, Comegys was just patrolling the paint. Bross is going to have to look for a shot.
Brodnax, 5, just checking into the lineup. Jackson here at the point. 2 point guards out there. Jackson's 3.
Good job by St. John's to show a little inside attack to get that zone to pull back in there.
And DePaul will use Andy Locks, number 14. He's out there. He's their first sub. Jackson has all 8 of the Johnny's points.
Good move.
Great move.
Now, Green was a second guard last year, now moved up to the forward position. It's amazing how this chemistry has come together. You'd never believe that a guy his size could play the small forward for a team that's ranked as high as DePaul, but he's really doing the job.
Golden's rebound.
Golden, another one of those role players, doesn't touch the ball much. Starts in the ball game, but is usually quickly replaced by Grundy.
Edwards, the 3. Brodnax rebounds.
Strickland going to come right back into the game now for Joey Meyer. Just a little talking to settle him down.
All leading 16-8. We have 12:30 to go in the first half. Earlier today, LSU eliminated Temple. Willie Glass on the turnaround.
Oh, good hustle by Jones. That's going to count. That was tapped from the underside back out of the basket, so obviously the basket's going to count.
So here is Strickland returning for DePaul. Marco Baldi, the hero of the Johnny's victory over Wichita State, in for the first time. And Stanley Brundage on the floor for DePaul. He's number 23. There's Baldi.
Baldi going up against Comegys. You'll see some pushing in this one. He can touch it.
Comegys much quicker than Baldi. Bodied him over there on the sideline and quickly picks up his first personal foul. 14 fouls on St. John's as the result of this one. The problem is going to be Comegys and that quick first step.
Well, Baldi, without question, pushing with the body to get out of there.
Glass in there. Shelton Jones, he couldn't handle Terrence Green either. Green's off early, 6 points.
Green considered the outstanding high school football player in Michigan. He's got a body for it. All basketball here, obviously, at DePaul.
St. John's trailing by 8, make it 6, and Shelton Jones is into the game. He could be a key here for Carnesecca.
Green is trying to go on every pass.
Locks.
Good shooter.
A 3.
Has had trouble shooting that shot last year, has come back a great deal this year. DePaul early.
Strickland. Baldi. And a reach in on Green. Green turns around to the other official and says, it wasn't me.
Well, he made a pretty good point, Brent. You often wonder why the guy on the call didn't make the call.
Matt Rust returning for Carnesecca. He's out there with Jackson, Rodnex, Baldy, and Jones.
And Edwards coming in there for Green. You can see Joey Meyer wanting to keep this press and the attack on the entire game, using a lot of fresh people.
Jackson trying to get inside Comegys, and he does with a nice slicing move to the glass.
I think a good move that time by Jackson to prove that he's going to be forceful on the offense. Comegys usually waits back in there, picks those off.
Off Jones, out of bounds. Pass was intended in there for Grundy.
Real good job that time by Brust to help Ball be back inside. You don't want Comegys to get off with too many inside jumpers early. He can have giant days.
Strickland has had trouble on national television, as strange as that sounds. He's not played his best game when the tube is here. Rodnex reaching in on Comegys, his first, and there is Joey Meyer. His father, the great Ray Meyer, is alongside us. He's the radio color man for WGN Radio here in Chicago, which broadcasted the ball games. Think he ever second guesses his son on the radio?
I've listened to him. He does. He goes right after him. But don't you second guess him in front of Ray. Then you got a problem.
Edwards bangs in the jumper from the baseline.
Ray is still a fighter.
Joey Meyer starting to mature as a leader, if you will. Balde has it knocked away by Laux in a foot race. Loose comes up with DePaul. Comegys lead pass. Bad gamble. Rodnex intercepts.
Well, you know, you've got a 9-point lead. Not a bad idea maybe to go for a home run early. Try to knock them out. Got good crowd support here.
Blue Demon bench up. Jones off the fake. Got in a little too far, made a strong move, and then got in underneath the hoop.
Yeah, he did the right thing there, Brent. When he realized he wasn't going to be able to make a clean shot, he just went all the way to the point to draw the foul, not worry about the basket.
That is the second foul on Comegys. That would be a number to watch as Willie Glass returns to the lineup for Carnesecca. You might notice his left hand as the game progresses. You might be thinking that's a cast. He broke a small bone on the top of the hand. I was overlooking it. It is a piece of sponge rubber that he has on the top and the bottom, and then it's heavily bandaged. It would be illegal for him to wear a cast in this game. The officials have checked it already. A little bit awkward to handle the ball.
Oh, I think very, very difficult. Anytime your hand feels strange, you have a very difficult time having any kind of motion with your shot. And yesterday, the plastic cast that he had on was taken off because the officials would not let him use it.
So we've got a television timeout here. 9:42 first half. DePaul leading St. John's 23. Blue this time of year. As the top seed in 80 through 82, they lost the first game. Last year, they suddenly became a Cinderella. They roared into the East Regional, and they were eliminated by Duke. Now, the crowd noise here is causing the officials' table a problem over alerting the athletes on the broken shot clock. Strickland, nice underneath. Good tough guard on the penetration.
Super pass inside by Comegys also, Brent.
Because there is so much noise here, they can't hear the PA announcer. They're making up some cards over there, like with 30 seconds. They're going to try to hold them up someplace in the arena. See if we get a picture of that for you a little bit later. Here's Jackson and Willie Glass.
Ball back in his zone. Well, the reason for the zone, I'm sure, is because Comegys picked up those 2 fouls. They want to keep him in the game and protect him.
30 seconds. I don't know how half the athletes can see
no,
that.
that wouldn't be of any advantage at all.
Now the PA announcement can be heard.
10 seconds.
It's like a quiz show out here. Jackson's off. Baldy with an offensive rebound and a hoop.
Baldy's picked up a lot of confidence with that big shot he made the other night to win the ball game for St. John's. Big difference there. St. John's being down to 33%.
Well, they got their hands full with Strickland, don't they, defensively? The way he can look at him cut away from Jackson. Oh, see something without the ball. Edwards fires the 3, short. Rebound, St. John's. Frost yanking it down, and here's Jackson. What's this high tempo slowing dribble of Jackson's? Bringing the shot clock down.
Ball stays in the 2-3 zone. I would think those cards and that noise would be very disconcerting. When you, Brent, to hear the clock coming down, particularly when you're the visiting club here and the crowd starts getting real noisy. We're down to 20.
There's the 15-second announcement. Jackson on the run in. Here's the outlet to Strickland. Big time.
That's the third time today he has used the rim to prevent the defender from going up to block his shot. Very clever.
Here comes the crowd, folks. Contact underneath. Baldy. The whole bench up. Two of them just checked in. Terrence Green and Kevin Golden returned. Baldy's second push in. That's Golden. Now St. John's already over the limit, so they'll be shooting the 1-and-1. 17 fouls against the Johnnies with 7:12 to go in the first, and 5 against DePaul. They have 1 to give yet.
Now Edwards, a junior college transfer. You start talking about putting together the chemistry of the ball club. Yesterday we had Indiana bringing in 2 JC transfers. The perfect chemistry for Bobby Knight with the athletes they added. And here's Edwards, the perfect guard to go ahead and balance off with Strickland and move Green onto the forward spot. It's amazing how one player can change the entire chemistry of a ball club.
It's a bit of a crunch time for the Johnnies here early in this game. They are down 12 points already with 7 minutes to go.
It's that 2-3 zone. Sheldon Jones is open on the inside.
Glass doesn't, but again it is Jones banging in there with the rebound. That's 7 points for Sheldon.
They can hit him right across the middle. St. John changes, goes to a little half-court trap here. Here's look for Edwards with his jump shooting.
Strickland. Run down by Edwards. Quicker to the ball on that side. Green sealed. Kamages. Edwards, he's hit from there already. That's 2 from that spot.
Brent, he'll be the man against that particular defense. You have to be so much aware of where Kamages is down through the middle, and he plays those wings perfectly.
Well, welcome those of you who are taking a peek here at the Rosemont. So far, the Blue Demons have been dominating St. John's. 31-19. DePaul in their home whites. Jackson can't hit it. Yanked down by Dallas Kamages, perhaps the most improved college basketball player in the land. This the other star on this Blue Demon team, Rod Strickland, big-time guard out of the Bronx.
Little hand checking by Jackson out there, not called. Nice pass.
Off Golden, couldn't get the handle on it. And there's a jump ball situation. They have the possession arrow. DePaul will keep it. Here's a brief game summary for you. We had the 45-second shot clock broken early on, so they've been calling out the time from the scorers table. Jackson and Edwards, the leading scorers, and DePaul blazing here at 65%. Carnesecca calls a timeout at 5:28. St. John's trails 31-19. East region field is set. Georgetown and Kansas. Providence and Alabama. Those 4 teams will square off in Louisville on Thursday night. Ooh, that Georgetown-Kansas game will be a good one, Billy.
It really would be the swarming defense of John Thompson and another guy with a great deal of experience in the NCAA tournament. There's that wrist I was talking about, all bandaged up. Looks like Willie Glass of the cheerleading squad. Foul on the inside. Golden going strong to the basket.
And Brust picks up number 3.
Personal 23, Ben Brust, his 3rd. For DePaul, Kevin Golden.
It is not going well for St. John's. Now remember, this team in the Big East tournament back in Madison Square Garden was blown out by Providence by 29. Carnesecca will try John Hempel. And Brust sits down with those three personals. If Hempel can get hot, he can use the three to climb back in this. He's going to need it.
He has some slow feet, though, Brennan, despite the fact that he's got the body. The quickness of the ball ought to give him trouble. You mentioned the Big East. Up to this point, they have not lost a game in the NCAA tournament, but they look like they have a problem here. 5 teams in the tournament. They all have won their ball games until now, and DePaul stays in that 2-3 zone. Smart move by Joey Meyer for a couple of reasons. Now, it's got to be St. John's catch him. He doesn't have to force tempo anymore. St. John's going to have to put the shot up. Plus, he saves Comegys down in the post, not picking up that third foul.
Muscling in for the field goal.
Smart move by Comegys not to come down with a chopped foul.
DePaul doesn't want to slow it down too much.
Good
You want
point.
to know that?
Good point. I'm surprised that Strickland's walking the ball up the floor. They had the tempo all their way when they were forced it.
Let me tell you what that does too, Billy. Edwards is going to squeeze the trigger here. That'll take your crowd out of it a little bit. The crowd loves it when you rush the ball down the floor. They want to keep this a home crowd advantage. That is 12 points for Edwards already in this game. There's Glass. Wham!
St. John's jam, Willie Glass.
How do you do?
Any question whether or not he can get up in the air?
I'm getting out of the way when he's coming through.
Real competitor. And a very good friend of Dallas Comegys.
Well, DePaul recruited him about as hard as they have anybody out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and they couldn't get him to come here. Edwards with a hot hand forces one, but St. John's can't run down the loose balls. That was Golden.
Golden only averaging 3 points a game. A silent man, role player.
Great pass from Baldy that got away.
Kind of tough at that short
Yeah, it was.
distance. Yep.
Come to think about it, he was in a little bit close when he fired it, but I think you're right. Jones, I think, thought he was going to come up with a shot. You know, Baldy was 5 of 5. He hit that winner, but he hit his other 4 field goals, too. No. He traveled.
Here we're going to see the role player I was talking about, Kevin Golden. Nobody blocking him out. Just a blue-collar worker in there, puts it back up against the board. Good job. Now we see Willie Glass coming across the lane. One of the real power leapers in college basketball.
Stanley Blundy returns, and Comegys sits down for the Blue Demons at the 3:10 mark here. First half. Hempel nails the 3.
Three-point field goal, John Hempel.
Hempel, of course, transfer from Massachusetts. Had great stats while he was there. Has not been able to duplicate since he's been at St. John's. Bulked up so much. You know, Louis Carnesecca is much happier with this pace than he was the way the game started out. Strickland trying to post up inside on Jackson.
15 seconds.
Nice job by Hempel staying with Green.
10.
And he comes away with the field goal.
Boy, that was good defense, so. Stayed right with him. Green just so strong inside. Ball goes back to man-to-man. Joey Meyer maybe feeling the game is slowing down a little bit.
2-minute mark. Glass uses it.
Strickland's going to like this. He wants to challenge Jackson with the dribble. New York City on New York City. DePaul has done very well getting guards out of the metropolitan area over the years.
No basket. Foul was before that.
13, Mark Jackson, his first. May I have your attention?
Well, there are the survivors so far. The Big East has not lost a game yet. The Southeastern Conference with 3 teams still going. The Big Ten down to 2. Big 8 with 2. ACC with 2. So again, the Southeastern Conference comes alive at tournament time.
The athletes have prevailed. But you know, that was interesting in that first game. We had a team from Philadelphia and a team from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The only 2 cities this year in the 64 field that had 2 teams.
Jones cleans up the missed free throw. And that was the first missed free throw by Joey Meyer's team. They are 7 of 8 here in the first half. So the Big East could wind up with its first loser in this one if St. John's cannot come back against DePaul. St. John's will need a lot of firepower, and that sometimes has been a problem with this team. Intercepted on the turnover.
Jones was running away from the pass. Jackson couldn't get enough mustard on it to get it down there. DePaul much better when they play that man-to-man.
That's a different game when they're in man.
That zone just slowed everything down and played to St. John's advantage. Oh, what a move.
Is he quick? Oh, he is something. Oh, Rod Strickland with 10 points.
Do you need to have guards to advance in the NCAA tournament? Think of some of the good ones we've seen. You know, David Rivers, Strickland, Jackson himself, Sherman Douglas, Kenny Smith at North Carolina, Billy Donovan down at Providence. Those guards can take you a long way. And again, the man-to-man brings the crowd back in.
Another Big East team faces difficulty in the second half. They'll have to come back against the Sooners, and that team's got firepower.
And what does Pittsburgh lack? Guards. Yep.
Glass. Oh, look at Shelton Jones up over the top of Glass. Just put a saddle on his teammate underneath.
3 big baskets by Willie Glass. Down to 12 and time running out.
He was out of bounds. It goes over to St. John's with 2 seconds left here in the first half.
They ought to get Baldy down underneath the basket and give him a toss. Let him try it. Don't have time for that.
Jackson. Oh, he hit the front of the rim with a 3 at the buzzer. That's it. It's 42-30. DePaul with a 12-point lead.
DePaul up.
That's his second personal. Now there are Team fouls 2 against St. John's, and DePaul with 2 also. Golden will sit down, and Stanley Grundy, number 23, checks in. And those of you who have been watching that Oklahoma-Pittsburgh game, welcome to Rosemont, along with Billy Packer. I'm Brent Musburger. DePaul has dominated this game all the way, and Willie Glass scoring. That's his first field goal here in the second half, a total of 8 points. And Billy, what do you think the Johnnies have to do here to climb back in this one?
Well, they're not a real good come-from-behind team, Brent. They don't have a real good three-point shooting ball club. They like to play a tempo game. They don't like to have to go out and chase. So when they get behind, they have problems. We saw that with Providence.
Great steal by Glass. He's a tremendous athlete. Didn't have the alley open.
So is Grundy, who caught up to him on that play. Normally, Willie Glass would blow that one open.
Playing with a broken bone, a small bone, on top of his left hand. Muscling in.
Kamaji's almost got that again. You notice how he can come off his man? If you're going to play DePaul, you almost have to make Kamaji's guard somebody, because he just plays that one-man zone in there.
Now the first hurdle, get it to 10. The Johnnies have got it there, and you're right. DePaul has not played with the intensity that they had early on, whereas St. John's battling their way out, and now here comes Jackson. 2-on-2, gets inside, Grundy to Glass. Great dish off by Jackson, and a foul underneath.
That was a super play by Jackson. Maybe after the play, it was a pretty nice play, too, huh? A little hot dogging.
Edwards' first personal, and the team's third.
You know, if you're DePaul, what you may have to do is go back to pressure defense full court, Brent, to get this team moving again.
Well, Joey Meyer has called a timeout. He has used a timeout here, and we'll be right back.
I did it! I did it!
Did what?
I just invented the wheel!
May I make a suggestion?
Sure!
Try these.
What are they?
Monroe Gasmatic Shocks. They'll give you the best ride ever. Guaranteed. Monroe Shocks and Struts are the next best thing to the wheel.
Guaranteed.
In riding, pal.
Ooh, hey! Yeah, great ride!
Looks like we won't have to reinvent the wheel for another, million years.
Hey, no wonder America rides Monroe!
Light Fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Hey, Gal.
What?
The elevator's here.
Find your future in the Army.
The guys at Car and Drive are pretty impressed with the Mazda 323. They know what they're talking about. They say, and I quote, "It conveys a feeling of structural integrity and heft that belies its small size," unquote. What they're saying is, it's a small road car. They also say, quote, "It's one impressive machine, not only a solid driving package, but a solid value as well," unquote. I tell everybody it's the best small car I've ever driven. Of course, nobody ever quotes me.
Good burst here by St. John's, Billy.
Good defensive effort. St. John's giving a lot more effort right now than DePaul is. Could have been a foul call there, but Mark Jackson comes up with one of his 360 spins, stays in the air. Good feed on off to Willie Glass. Excellent play.
15 minutes to go in regulation. St. John's has whittled DePaul's lead to 8, 46-38. Glass at the free throw line, attempting to complete the three-point play. Tapped in by Jones.
And DePaul's attitude is leading St. John's right back into this ball game. They've really turned it down a notch or two. And here's where that home crowd advantage helps you, Brent. The crowd sometimes can bring you back.
Strickland. Dowdy could not go up into him because he's playing with the three personals. 12 points for Rod Strickland. And for Jackson, who is coming down the floor, he has not scored yet in the second half.
And here comes that crowd.
Glass.
Oh, what a quick step.
Score it. He'll come and shoot again. Wait a minute. Score it, but charge the offensive foul. And Louis unhappy with that one.
You know, that's a call, Brent. We'll see this great first step by Willie Glass. That's a call that I think we're going to have to see become more uniform. Either all of them have to count or none of them count. In regard to that charge after the shot.
Strickland forced one, air ball, out to Jackson. Great run by the Johnnies. Jackson inside. Now it's down to 4 at the 14-minute mark in regulation. Carnesecca and Redmond have climbed back in.
They're doing it with effort. St. John's has got the effort. DePaul has kind of left their game in the locker room.
Inside pass intercepted by Jones.
It's like two different teams. Look like they swap uniforms.
Baldy. It's down to 2, 48-46 at 13:23.
He has missed one shot in Chicago.
Comegys passes it beautifully inside to Grundy.
I wonder where the press is, Brent. That's what set the tempo for DePaul early. Now they're dropping back in his zone. Jackson wanting somebody in the foul line.
Jones and Comegys rebounds. An assist and now a rebound for the big fella.
He's got some hands, doesn't he? Lift that off with the left. And he wants the ball.
Foul off on the other side.
Comegys really sat down on the baseline. He wanted the ball. That's the mark of any great player in the clutch.
That is 4 personal fouls on Marco Baldi. He will have to leave. And Terry Bross returns. He replaces him.
Louis loved the effort there by Marco. He probably would have needed a little rest here shortly because he's not used to going that long a stretch. Almost 8 minutes.
Andy Louts has checked in for the Blue Demons.
9 from 10 from the field. Maybe the Chicago Bulls would be interested.
Yeah, he reminds you a little bit of Tom Boerwinkle.
Some guys hit well in certain ballparks. Oh, I heard that.
I was wondering.
That went right over my head.
It really did.
Yes,
Zippity doo-dah. Good morning.
Tom Boerwinkle. Blue 3 zone with Comegys right in the center. Trying to play the whole lane. Boy, it really helps to have that shot clock up there, doesn't it, for the players?
A 3. Offensive rebound by Bross and knocked back out of bounds by DePaul. Fresh 45 for the Redmen, who were down by 4, 50-46. 11:39 in regulation. And Syracuse with the home court advantage in the second half, leading Western Kentucky and trying to close out the field for the East Regional. They would play Florida if they win that game. Those matchups are Thursday night in the Meadowlands. Now it is back to the Redmen. They were down by 12 at the intermission. They double up on Jones. Knocked away. DePaul on the steal. And they draw the foul. Second foul on Jones.
Good defensive quickness down in the corner, even though they're in that zone.
St. John's down to 1 timeout in this game. That may affect them. Louis had to use some timeouts early. Trails it by 4. You spend a lot of energy climbing back into one of these games, and sometimes you don't have a whole lot left.
Strickland trying to post up down inside on Jackson. Hadn't been able to get anything. Jackson wanted to foul on that screen.
All alone. Edwards. The three-pointer is good. 17 points here this afternoon for the other guard, Kevin Edwards, a 6'3" junior.
You talk about ball handling against the zone. A behind-the-back pass by Jackson really set things up because the zone was shifted as he was looking to his right. Give St. John's a lot of credit. They've been in a tough Big East race all year long. They're serving them well now.
Kamachis misses. St. John's comes up with it. It's Jackson. Mark glides in for the layup. They close back to within 3. 14 for Jackson, inside of 10 minutes in regulation.
When you play against the Georgetowns and the Pitts and the Syracuses in the Dome, I guess you ought to be prepared for anything.
Good move by Edwards. Back to Kamachis, who didn't get the handle on it, but he comes up under pressure anyway. He's been held to 9 points here this afternoon. 9:30 to go. It's a 5-point Blue Demon lead.
And it's become a half-court game, Brent. Nothing happening in between top of the key to the top of the key, which really favors St. John's. Willie Glass hasn't gone for many jump shots at all. He's ready for one now, but he just can't get that ball seated in his hand. Nice.
Uses the glass. That's 16 for Willie.
He needs a little room there to get that ball seated. Just catching it off the pass and going up would be tough for him.
2 different games here this afternoon. Kamachis. And he was fouled.
Dallas has been on that foul line 180 times this year, so you can see the activity that he draws and the traffic he draws when he gets the ball down low.
They reach the half with the Sooners up by the 10. Now team fouls. St. John's with 6 and DePaul with 3. Terrence Green has returned to the lineup for DePaul. He's number 13 at the top of the key with the ball.
And he's the guy that really got him exploding out of the box early and then went away on us.
So St. John's pace being played here.
Good double team help by Jackson.
Shot clock inside of 10.
He used his arm and got away with it.
Missed the shot. Ross outlet pass in the hands of Jackson, who's been breaking down on that wing. Under pressure. Kamachis comes up. Lauk was there too. Kamachis rejected the shot. Lauk drew the foul.
You know, Brent, look at the DePaul players seem to be more fatigued than the St. John's players. All bending over, grasping for air.
Mark Jackson, 2 shots.
Number 22, Elander Lewis, checks into the game for St. John's. He's a freshman guard out of Albany, New York, and a young man we did not expect to see here this afternoon.
Not a bad shooter, pretty quick.
Now watch this aiming free throw style. Fans in New York are very familiar with it. Whatever works, he's perfect. 4-4 here this afternoon, and the Johnnies have closed to within 1. What a second half comeback by St. John's. 7:53 to go in regulation.
I wonder if Dale Brown and I ought to get back in another little conversation, get the scouting report
Get
out.
that videotape out, boys. If the Johnnies win it, Carnesecca wants copies for everybody. Kamachis swatted away by Glass. What a great defensive play. Jackson to save it. A collision. Lewis fouls Lauk. No doubt about it. Lewis crashed into Lau going for the ball, but what a rejection down here by Glass.
Willie is an explosive leaper. Not a goaltend at all. Knocked it out of there. Then great hustle for the ball as Jackson might have stepped on that sideline, but super hustle by St. John's.
Now they're over the limit, so they're shooting 1-1. That team foul statistic. DePaul still with a pair to give, and that probably reflects as much as anything the tenacity that St. John's has played with here in the second half.
50% free throw shooter though, Brent. Excuse me, a 72% free throw shooter. Locke's got a funny release.
Rod Strickland returns. Laux sits down. Hit a couple of big free throws for him.
Here's something I expected for quite some time from DePaul. A little press on St. John's, try to up that tempo. This is what really extended their lead for him in the first half.
Jones breaking on the other side. Jackson couldn't get the ball over to him. Knocked out of bounds. Now the biggest lead of this game was 14. It was 12 at the half. St. John's has never led in this game.
They go back to the 2-3 zone, where St. John's loves this pace.
3 with tied. Jackson will try it. He's got it. We're tied at 57. 7 minutes to go. Hold on, everybody.
Brent, I'm not sure he wasn't fouled on that play.
Don't get greedy.
That was a good shot.
Inside, Strickland dishes off one at Lundy, and there's a foul. And Louis can't believe the call underneath. Hold on, he says no personal is going to be called on that. The officials get together on it now. It'll be out of bounds. We're going to have a timeout called. We've got a timeout called by Joey Meyer of the Blue Demons at the 6:40 mark, and we're tied at 57. Well, when Strickland threw the ball out of bounds moments ago, the officials have ruled that St. John's touched it last, that they got a hand on it. So it's into Paul's possession. Carnesecca was complaining about the call down at the end line. For a moment, it looked like the official was going to call the foul. That's the team foul situation. Possession arrow for St. John's. Time remaining in heavy
ball.
All ball that time. Goes over.
All ball. Great play.
For St. John's, 23, Matt Brust.
And Brust returns to the lineup. And Lewis will sit down. St. John's with a chance to take their first lead in this game. They have gone on a 25-11 run here in the second half to tie the score.
Brent, you asked me what they could do to get back in the game, and I didn't think they could do anything to get back in this game. But they have really taken it to DePaul. Paul picking back up. A little bit more aggressive defense. Go back to man-to-man. That zone just played into St. John's hands.
Jones thought Jackson was going to cut for the basket. Carnesecca stares at him from the bench and says, come on, Shelton. He's not going to go in on that play. What are you doing making that pass? Now Louis turns back around his sweater, and here we go. Now we got 6:16 to go. We're tied at 57.
Ross doing a good job so far in Comagene. Comagene's wanting that ball. It just can't get open.
Strickland finding it tougher going here in the second half.
There he goes.
Comagene takes it with the left hand. He is short. St. John's rebounds.
You know, Brent, he gets by with a lot of arm. He makes a path almost every time he makes a move to the basket. Hadn't had it called yet today. St. John's taking the crowd out of this game a little bit also.
Rust on the move inside. Hits the jumper, and he'll come up to the line. Chance for a three-point play.
Some comeback.
One of the great comebacks of this tournament so far.
On the other man's home court with a home crowd, and DePaul that was playing very, very well in the first half.
I think you guys overrate the home crowd in the tournament. I really believe it. As long as your officials are not influenced and the guy who's the home court coach is not hiring the referees, I'll take my shot.
I can't agree with you on that.
I know you basketball guys never agree with me. I love the noise. They play in the garden. Everybody cheer. Let's go.
They're not cheering for your team, though.
Arizona gets knocked out. UAB gets knocked out.
Syracuse is winning.
Edwards, great defense.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Hold on
Did he
there.
touch that ball?
Now they get together. He says score it. Score the field goal.
Now, you can't have goaltending if the ball would not be going in anyway. Let's see. I think it's going to be Bross that goes up there and touches this. Yeah, you've got to call it. It was going to be short anyway. You got a piece of it. Tough break for St. John's. They're really hustling out here now.
Tied at 60 with 5:23 to go. Midwest Regional. The horizon just outside Chicago.
Now here's the press tempo that DePaul really used to their advantage in the first half. Then they just kind of went to sleep here in the second half.
Shelton had to give it up. Good helping defense by Comegys that time.
Of course, the reason Bross is open is for the simple reason Comegys went down there to help on the baseline. So you know you always have an outlet pass. Edwards.
Shot clock is down to 7. Jackson swatted away and out of bounds.
Now, Brent, here is a rule in college basketball I think we need to start talking about changing. Great defense by Comegys to block the shot, but a new 45-second shot clock will go on. See it right here. Good defense all the way around. Now, Comegys blocks the shot, which should be to the advantage of the defensive team. It's not. Now we get a new 45.
Bill Russell never knocked the ball out of bounds with a blocking shot. That's what you got to teach him.
What'd you say in that three-pointer? I asked for the foul before. Take a break.
Dowdy has returned to action. You saw him. Number 14. He's got the ball right there playing catch with Jackson.
Shooting 144% here in Chicago. Don't be surprised to see him put up another jumper. This is Louis Carnesecca tempo right here.
Jackson missed everything.
Kind of surprised he took it from that far out.
It's almost like he thought the shot clock was down inside of 5 seconds. And it was not. Loose. Picked up by Glass. And a foul will go against DePaul. It's against Strickland, his second. The Johnnies hustling after every loose ball here in the second half.
So there's a case when you get on get a chance to get on a loose ball, make sure you have it before you try to make a play. Green did not, and that's why it caused the turnover. Joey went through, experienced all those years with DePaul, only had one loss going into the tournament, got knocked off in the first round 3 times.
We're tied at 60.
Aldi backing up on Comegys.
Jones coming around the corner, and the foul is on Grundy. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Syracuse game. St. John's and DePaul are tied at 60. We have 3:24 to go here in regulation time, but the story, the comeback by the Redmen. They trailed by 12 at the half. They were down by 14, and they have forged their way back into this. They have simply out-hustled and outworked the Blue Demons in the second half. Missing the free throw.
Good screen by Grundy, freed Strickland. What a steal! You know, New York City guards have that ability when a man goes up for the jump shot. I don't know where they pick it up. It's got to be a playground action where they reach right in there as the man's going up for the jumper and strip it away. Strickland has done it to Jackson, and that time he repaid the favor.
25 on the shot clock. Strickland can't get it to fall. St. John's
Wide
ball.
open.
They come out of the move. It's Jones. The Johnnies lead by 2, 62 to 60, 2:54 in regulation. Timeout, DePaul. That will leave Joey Meyer with 1.
I wasn't even in the market for a new car when I drove this Pontiac. Then I found that, depending on the Pontiac I got, I could get up to $1,200 back to pocket or use as a down payment. Or I could get 3.9% GMAC financing. Now I ask you, could you pass up Pontiac excitement with a choice of savings like that? Neither could I.
We build excitement.
Hi, I'm Charles Seaver, builder and artist. My little brother Tom is a major league pitcher, a strikeout artist. So a lot of investment firms would love to help him manage his money. But I found a firm that's happy to help people like you and me too, Dean Witter. They're helping me plan for my children's education and my retirement. Maybe I haven't won 300 games, but Dean Witter always treats me like an all-star.
You're somebody at Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Introducing a new riding mower with the tightest turning radius in its class. And yet the sort of heavy-duty transaxle and powerful overhead valve engine you'd expect to find only on commercial equipment. Introducing the new John Deere Riders. Nothing runs like them because nothing's built like them.
Well, here's a case where Stanley Grundy, off to the right of that arrow, hesitates a step, Billy, and that's all it takes.
Billy, he does. That was his man, Sheldon Jones. What I thought was so great about this pass by Jackson, he had a hard time getting a hold of the ball to start the break, but then came up with a super bounce pass that came up soft.
Story of this game, Dallas Comegys, only 4 of 11. He is scoreless since the 9:33 mark. DePaul has fallen behind by 2 with 2:50 to go.
Grundy, the only non-starter in the game for DePaul, but he plays just as much time as Golden. Let's see if he uses that arm. Too late.
On the turnover, Jackson wraps it up. St. John's can go up by 4.
Comegys tried to use that arm. Jackson wisely came back in to help out. Why do you feel comfortable when Jackson has the ball in his hands if you're a coach? You know, he just seems like he reads that defense perfectly.
Shot clock inside of 15.
Gotta watch a 5.
Baldy checks it, and now it comes down to 5 seconds. Now Jackson will have to hurry. Gets inside, throws in
Jackson
one.
a shot.
It's a 4-point St. John's lead, 21 by Jackson.
Not only did he split the defense, he had Dallas Comegys to contend with.
DePaul only 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes.
Look at how the St. John's defense is packing back inside.
Green rises up too high, off the mark, goes back and recovers, though. He followed up his miss beautifully inside, and now it's 2.
Brent, you've got to give up something.
There goes Jones breaking on the wing. Strickland's there, but he gets inside him, and he can't bury the layup. He misses it. DePaul can tie it. 116. Strickland goes to Edwards. Short. And out of bounds. St. John's ball. A chance for DePaul to tie it, and they can't get it to fall. How could Jones have missed that layup down here at the other end?
Well, what hurt him was Strickland cutting underneath him, but he should have kept that concentration. Should have maybe even gone for the dunk.
I welcome the Syracuse audience, the end of this one. Baldy going hard to the basket.
Yes,
He's got the layup. A 4-point lead, 10 for Marco. Inside of a minute now. Strickland Not there.
Now they
St.
break.
John's runs it down. They got a 2-on-1. Jackson hits glass with a beautiful look off and a foul. What a comeback by Louis Carnesecca and the Redmen of St. John's. Watch Louis as he walks in his man. Come on, get it down. That's it. Shoot two.
Well, you'd much rather have the dunk layup.
St. John's, Willie Glass has 2 shots.
You know, in Brennan, that particular case, you want to go for the score. You don't want to go ahead and worry about the clock. It's at 45 now, so the next time St. John's gets the ball, they can hold it to the end.
Willie Glass, 16 points, 10 this half. And remember the 6 he scored at the end of the first half? Go back to, he missed the free throw. If you're a St. John's fan or you're Lou Carnesecca, that one hurts. And if you're Joey Meyer, the Blue Demons, you say, great. Remember that Thunder dunk? That may have helped turn this team around also. He puts down the back end.
What happened with this team is DePaul went to sleep at halftime. They thought they were already on the way to Cincinnati.
A 3, not there. Oh, it's lost into the hands by Baldy. Score it, and he commits the foul. DePaul still alive here.
Brent, we're at a 3-point differential now. A made foul shot puts us in that situation where a 3-pointer can win something.
Stanley Blundy comes through underneath, puts in the field goal, and Baldy falls out of the game. Number 5.
He's had a great tournament so far. Great tournament. Missed 1 shot in the 2 games he played here. 5 or 6 today. What was he? 5 for 5 the other day, including the winning basket. Good piece of officiating here. Wanting to make sure guys don't walk across that lane.
Free throw here closes DePaul to within 2. Still in it, 36 seconds to go.
You gonna think about fouling? Remember, the shot clock is off now. You don't want Mark Jackson to have that ball because he'll go to that line and strip it.
They'll come to the sideline for this inbounds play with 33 seconds to go. St. John's leading it 67 to 65.
St. John's looking maybe to go long with 1 man to keep DePaul honest. They've got Comegys back as a safety.
Jackson against the trap, gets it to Brust. Here's Brust quickly to Jones. And they put Jones on the line. They take him down.
He's going to call it 1-and-1.
Green fouls out of the game. Jones this afternoon, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. You would think the one player also didn't want to gamble on from the line. Probably Willie Glass, who's played a great game despite that broken hand. He's 1 of 3 from the line. Andy Louts checks in for DePaul after Green fouled out. 67-65, 1-and-1 coming up for Shelton Jones at the 19-second mark. Now the big one. It's a 4-point lead at 19 seconds to go. DePaul coming from behind. They've got to go up fast with a 3-pointer. Edwards takes it here for the left side. It is short. Comegys, and it falls. He can complete a 3-pointer with 12 seconds still on the clock. DePaul refuses to quit here.
How often do you see the shot come up way short? Remember the NC State victory for the national championship? Everybody kind of loses their concentration. The ball came up short. Smart move by Comegys to put it right back up. Not much Terry could do on this play. He just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Brett, you've got to think
Look at Carnesecca watching. only had a shot to get that ball. Oh, he's great on the sideline.
That's not the same sweater he wore to the Final Four. That's long.
He was going after it. Strickland. Strickland to the glass. Left hand is tied it. 7 seconds. DePaul has tied it on Strickland. Kamaji's missed it on purpose. Those pictures tell the story. DePaul on the brink of elimination from this NCAA tournament. Joey Meyer gets a reprieve.
Well, Brent, there was no question that Dallas Comagese was trying to miss that shot, because as soon as he released it, he stepped right on, headed towards that line. First time I've seen it this year.
Now DePaul is on a 7-2 run. The last 40 seconds, and I want to take everybody back to what happened with the horn here on this clock. Billy, fill us in.
That's right. Remember at the end of the first half, and it happened here the other day also, when the clock shows 0-0, the horn is delayed what seems to me like a second and a half. So we may have, although 5 seconds shows on this clock, the way this horn's been operating, we may have 7.
5 seconds left in regulation. St. John's with the ball and the tie, and John Hempel, a long-range shooter, checks in for the Johnnies.
And Brent, they went over and talked to the man that's responsible for pushing that horn. The officials did. Asking the DePaul club to get back, so there's plenty of room on that sideline. The reason for that is the timer couldn't see when the ball was going to be inbounded.
Clock starts down. Jackson's going to go in all the way. He's got a shot. We go to overtime. Overtime at the horizon. Come back with the overtime momentarily.
4-86. Syracuse heading to the Meadowlands to meet Florida. Let's go back to St. John's DePaul.
We are back, ready to start the 5-minute overtime. Now, as far as overtime timeouts are concerned, St. John's gets 1. DePaul had 1, so they have 2. Both teams are over the limit on fouls. You shoot 1 and 1. You just continue on with that stat. St. John's lost Marco Baldi in the final hectic moments of regulation. He's out of the game. Green is out of the game for DePaul. So St. John's with possession. (39-27). The Johnnies outscored the Blue Demons in the second half. Inside to Shelton Jones.
There's a man that's come alive here down this stretch. Although he missed that one layup, everything else he's done has been very positive.
Edwards, Grundy, Laux still out there. Comegys and Strickland. Jackson gambles. Strickland gets in. Was sealed up and fouled, but did you see the move he made with the ball in the air?
Now Strickland just goes in and he challenges people to come towards him defensively. Now watch this. He beat his man. Goes inside. He knows all those big people are in there, but he just has such confidence that he can dish the ball off, and he takes it in anyway. That's all for Brust, right?
He has fouled out, and so Boris Rodnax, number 5, returns to the game for Carnesecca. Brust the second, Johnny, to foul out.
You know, I talked about that New York connection. Clyde Bradshaw, Gary Garland, Jerry McMillan, Ron Norwood, all guards from the East prior to this guy that have made DePaul solid in the backcourt. And 2 of them were there when they made it to the Final Four in '79. Ray's only trip.
Pressure, and they get it quickly to Jackson, but he's all alone. Johnny's trying to hit the glass, and there's a foul underneath. Basket interference.
I think they're saying Shelton
goes over to DePaul. There was interference with the ball when it was up on the cylinder. He had a hand on it. It'll go out on the side. DePaul's ball. We're tied at 71.
Louis doesn't like it. I was surprised Jackson tried to challenge Comegys on that play. Right now, possession is really the key. Comegys just can't get it the way this defense is collapsing inside.
Edwards.
Strickland tries to steal every pass that's thrown to his man. You ought to backdoor cut him a time or two. Here he goes again.
Glass turns to the left.
One hand and all. This guy's showing a lot of heart.
And that one is tightened up. The Big East not going quietly into any night in this tournament. Comegys. Shot clock inside 15.
Edwards trying to keep it away from Jackson.
Now it's down with 6 seconds. Out of bounds, but hit by St. John's. It goes to DePaul.
Brent, that's what's tough. If you've got one man, you want to have the ball. If anything, you want to give Jackson the ball, let's say with 7-8 seconds at the top of the key where he has not used his dribble. To get down there in that corner gives a big advantage to the defense.
John Hempel into the lineup for Carnesecca. He's going to put his body all over Comegys.
Comegys can shoot over him if he can ever get the ball. That's a foul.
Now remember, they're shooting now. They're already over the limit.
Watch, Hempel is going to body him all the way around. Now Comegys realizing he can't get it, tries to move. There's the foul, no question about it. He's not going to try to bang this one up there.
He may have missed the most important free throw in the history of this school. Turned it into a 2-point opportunity in regulation to send us to the overtime.
How often do you hear about a guy missing on purpose to win a game?
Pittsburgh has just taken the lead on the Sooners. Jackson gets in on Love, throws it up. No, it's offensive foul.
Smart play by Love. He gave up his body there, Brent, because there's no way that he can handle Jackson on a penetrating move to try to block the shot, so he just gave up his body. Smart play.
(77-73). A minute and a half left in overtime.
Dale Brown might have been right anyway, huh? St. John's letting DePaul take a lot of clock here, being down 4.
Strickland got in too far, but it winds up in Comegie's hands. Off Strickland, he goes for it and saves it. And the foul on Jackson.
Not a bad move, though, on Jackson. Strickland, not a good free throw shooter. He was down in the mid-50s and low 50s earlier this year, and now still up to 61%. On that shot that Comegie's took, Hempel did a good job going right at him. Took a little concentration away.
St. John's could use a 3. Jackson goes on inside. Hempel missed the layup. DePaul, and they can kill it.
Got to foul. You got to foul Strickland.
Rodnax will put Edwards on the line. 34 seconds to go. Pittsburgh up by 1 against Oklahoma.
That's quite a comeback there, too. Edwards, an 80% free throw shooter.
Jackson.
Timeout, St. John's.
Louis uses his last timeout with 25 seconds. He's down by 4 points. 25 seconds to work with. We'll be right back. Of Thursday night on CBS, we'll regionalize our coverage. Notre Dame, North Carolina. That's in the east. Kansas, Georgetown. That's the southeast region. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time live. Then we'll have a tape at 11:30 Eastern time on the Florida-Syracuse game. Well, we're back now for the final 25 seconds, 79-75. DePaul with the lead and the ball.
But you want Strickland to catch this ball and then foul him. You don't want it over there in Edwards' hands.
And he is fouled by Glass.
I think the proper strategy there was to go ahead and double-team Edwards, making it almost perfectly possible to get the ball to Strickland, then go trap Strickland. You want him on the line. You're giving up a man that's in the 60% shooting range against a guy that's up almost at 80.
Edwards comes up to the free throw line.
They are now 7 for 8 in overtime on the foul line. The only miss was Strickland's.
The 3, way off the mark, and DePaul will go to Cincinnati. tougher than DePaul anticipated. A great St. John's comeback, but it was not to be.
For DePaul, 14, ending up.
Sometimes you wonder what this club had been like with Walter Barrow. 8 for 9.
So the field is set for the Midwest Regional down in Cincinnati on Friday night. DePaul has advanced on in. They will play LSU, Indiana, matched against Duke. Those are the two games that will be played on Friday night down in Cincinnati. Now let's go to New York, and here's Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Brent, and what a comeback in that final minute of regulation by DePaul. That is the 5th overtime game of the tournament. 83-75, DePaul wins it. The MVPs, Chevy MVPs, Mark Jackson for St. John's and Kevin Edwards for DePaul. Syracuse was a winner by 18 over Western Kentucky. The Chevy MVPs there, Brett McNeil for the Hilltoppers and Sherman Douglas, 27 points for the Orangemen. So in the East, out of Syracuse, Florida and the Orangemen will meet at the Meadowlands. North Carolina and Notre Dame fill out the East Regional at Meadowlands on Thursday. Now, Thursday night, we have a big lineup for you. First, let's tell you that Oklahoma now has regained the lead over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had come back from 12 down in the second half to take a 1-point lead. 1:05 left in that game, and the Sooners lead it by 5. Now let's tell you about Thursday night. Well, you'll see in prime time either the Notre Dame North Carolina game at 9 o'clock Eastern or Kansas against Georgetown. Larry Brown against John Thompson. Late night on Thursday, Florida and Syracuse on tape delay. That'll get started at 11:30 Eastern time. And again, that Oklahoma-Pitt game, Oklahoma up by 5 in the final minute. And we'll continue on the road to the Final Four after this message and a word from your local stations. Brown back in